Now, I'm aware that there's a lot of kind of, different Doctor Who leaked content going around. And I don't just necessarily mean leaks. I mean, there's a Twitter account or X, whatever, account called Doctor Who in the Mid Journey. I think they're also on YouTube. I'm not sure if they're on TikTok. Um, and that's kind of a thing. And I mean, I guess in a way, the only kind of good thing about that is that they're literally 100% using AI, and I'll get into why that's a good thing and not actually just something else in a minute. That will make sense. But so what I mean is, there's content like that. We're obviously having AI, be used in obviously official media as well. I mean, there was kind of rumors of it being used on certain covers for certain artwork pieces. I don't just mean the kind of airbrushing that was used in some of the 60th posters. I mean some of the other actual official media, including, actual posters for Christmas last year. There was lots of questions about that and stuff. So today, this is going to be kind of be a big discussion about it. I'm not really sure where this video is going to go and where it's going to take us. We're probably maybe going to have some people come in and talk about it as well, but I genuinely don't know, so please don't go expecting that. This is more just going to be me talking about kind of everything, and you can put this video on in the background on another screen or whatever, on a walk, on a train, whatever, and just listen and let me know what you think. Feel free to reply multiple times. I know that sometimes I want to like reply to. Also, sorry, just saying now, this is going out the window, and that I'm going to jump around and talk about different things. I'm not going to necessarily keep this super continuity, and not. I know a lot of people are going to be, oh, I don't care about that and whatever. I'm just going to talk, and then if you find it boring, skip ahead, click off, do it wrong. I'm making this video how I want to make it, and it literally is me talking, trying something new here, because I think this discussion needs to kind of be had, and some things here need to be said, and more clarified, I think, in a way, because I think part of the issue, and sorry, see, I've already completely forgotten what I was saying, but yeah, so sorry, we'll get onto that in a minute, because that all links together. So, there's kind of content like that. Again, it's being used in posters and things, either officially or not officially. It's then being used in kind of big projects. I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's called something, the Timeless Doctors. It might be called that. I might need to check. So if that is wrong, then I'm sorry. I'll check that in a minute on my phone. And then obviously there's the leaks as well, the AI leaks, which we'll get into. Not to mention as well, just kind of general AI content being used. Obviously, there's lots of Doctor Who fan audios out there. Myself, I make Doctor, animated What If. Other people do loads of kind of stuff like that, and it's more kind of seeing an increase, and in other areas as well, a good decrease of using AI content, either in literally writing, which I mean, please just stop. If you're making a fan series, you're a fan, you're the fan, so write it as the fan. If you're the fan, is that then not you wanting to use your fanness? Why are you then using ChatGPT to write for you? I mean, get a grip. But in general, just like, so there's that. People obviously using AI for their music in their videos and their fan series and things. Again, I'm not necessarily saying I'm not going to watch any of the content with it. Probably won't. But I'm not necessarily saying, I hate you and all your stuff if you use AI. No. It's also, we're getting to the point now where it is going to become unavoidable. I don't mean that in the way that it's going to be unavoidable to use. I will never use it in the What If in any large capacity, and by any large capacity, I mean that in the way of, sometimes my writing on big, very long Discord messages can be very off, and I might run it through a spell check program. But that's not even necessarily AI. Those have been around for years. You know what I mean? But sorry, I hit my mic. But that's what I mean. No one is going to be 100% not using any AI for anything. But you know what I mean. At least I hope you do. But anyway, also what I was saying earlier was, sometimes when I'm watching a video, I want to kind of comment at the end and then save my comment. But then I've forgotten loads of other stuff I wanted to comment and say about. Please feel free just to repeat comments, like repeatedly comment multiple things as we're listening through here, if you have something to say, or join the Discord below. It might be easier, and then I'll probably even be able to engage live with you as well. So yeah, but we'll kind of start now and get onto track, so I've kind of talked for 5 minutes about general things, and we'll start, I guess, with I kind of wanted to start with the leaks, but I actually kind of want to go on a different route first, which is that Timeless Doctors thing, and I'll just check right now that it is actually called that. And for those of the people who don't know what that is, while I look that up, let me just check. Hold on, the Timeless Doctors. Yes, it's the Timeless Doctors. Sorry, yeah. So for the people that don't know what that is, it's a fan kind of film. And what it's doing is it's using kind of clips and shots from all of Doctor Who, as well as fan stuff. So, like creating original shots and things like in 3D using Blender, using whatever. Masking them, taking, so let's say there's a scene of, the Doctor standing somewhere, removing the background and then putting him in somewhere else. And I'll put something on screen now. It's going to show you what it kind of looks like. And this has been in the making for years. And they have started to use AI. And I am fully aware there's actually a comment that they themselves kind of go into a little bit of detail about, saying about like, actually the vast majority of the project doesn't use AI. I mean, then they put out a trailer which looks like the majority of shots in that trailer are literally just AI. Even so, they can say, 97% or whatever it was, I can't remember, doesn't use AI in the projects, and 90% of the project isn't AI. We don't know that. You can kind of tell because it looks kind of not as good as everything else, to be honest. But and it just has that cheap AI slop kind of look. But yeah, they can say that, but obviously they could be using it a lot more. But the main thing that I want to touch on that was, I think George Sheard, he spoke about it in a live stream, and it was really interesting, was kind of saying about how he was very excited for that project, and now it's using AI for things. It kind of feels just like he's probably not going to watch it anymore. He's not very excited for it. Fully get that as well, and a lot of people are agreeing with that. Because I think the fact is, especially a project like that, which is why this then differs to Doctor Who in the Mid-Journey, which is total AI slop. But this is, obviously, it's had loads and loads and loads of hard work put into it over the years. Blood, sweat and tears. The What If had blood, sweat and tears put into it over the course of, I think, 7 or 8 months. So I'm sure over the course of years, this has had too. Probably tenfold the amount the What If did. And money, I'm sure, into it as well. And the thing is then it just kind of feels like if you're then just rushing towards the end now because you spent years doing all this stuff, and now just so you can get to the end quicker, you're using AI, it's then kind of like, well, what was the point in everyone putting all that hard work in? Because if you're just going to use AI for the end, like, what's the point? It's like writing a banging script, it's like writing a book, let's say, or a script, whatever, spending years and years and years writing a book, writing a story, really going, putting so much effort and thought and everything into it, you're putting your soul into it, and then for the last chapter, right, the peak climax of the story, just feeding it to ChatGPT because you can't be arsed and it's quicker. It just, like, what was the point of just put that last little bit of effort in for the whole thing, or just do the whole thing AI and have it all be AI slop? But it's like, but in my kind of issue with it, and the fact that even when I was now thinking about watching it and stuff, because I probably will still have a look, I probably will still have a watch, but it's just, genuinely, if so much of it is AI, like that trailer was, I probably will just click off. Because if I'm watching a video and so much of it is AI, I keep saying it really weird, it's like AI, but if so much of it is AI, I just end up clicking off. I'm like, whatever, I don't like, alright, it's just kind of boring. I don't know why, I just maybe innately know that it's cheap and no one's actually made it, so if you can't put the effort in to make it, why should I put the effort in to watch it? And it just kind of feels boring. But more so, that's the thing. I think it just cheapens the rest of it. The fact that then, let's say 90% of the project isn't AI, the fact that you've then used 3% AI to do a bunch of shots throughout, it then just makes the whole thing feel a bit cheaper and a bit, it just cheapens the rest of it, is kind of how I feel about it. And that's just me talking about that singular project, but kind of using that as an example as a whole, to kind of talk about how AI in projects that are kind of half and half or mixed just kind of cheapens it all. So I think if people are working on a project and you're thinking about maybe using AI for things like creating shots, and I'm not talking about upscaling images, I'm not talking about that, I'm not talking about, well, actually, that's about it, basically, yeah. I'm not talking about, if you're using AI to upscaling images. Obviously, the What If has used loads of PNGs. And obviously, there's like online Adobe background removers, which helps like clear out backgrounds of like pictures, so you can like isolate the characters out. I'm not talking about things like that, and that's not just from a bias perspective. Sorry, that's because those things have been around for years. Upscaling background removals were around when I was in year 9, and that was, who even knows what year, that was before COVID, that was before any of this stuff actually took off, long before ChatGPT, long before any of that stuff. So I feel like what needs to kind of be established almost in general is like in regards to AI slop is, and what counts as just cheap AI slop is a boundary. But then I guess there's a whole thing of like, is there then a boundary before that? Because obviously, let's just say, for example, background removers came out in 2010, let's just say, then were the people who were originally taking out the backgrounds before, they're then calling that, I don't know, sorry, that was very muddly and my whole thing. But what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about kind of stuff like that, background removers, upscaling. I'm talking about, if you're literally using AI to create music, to create original shots, to take an image and turn it into a video. If you're using AI visual generation, so rather than, upscaling or assistance, I guess, if you're using it as generative, if you're using generative AI, that I'd say is AI slop. And if you're mixing that in with your project that also isn't using it, and it's kind of doing both, if you're thinking about doing that, be wary that it's going to cheapen the whole thing, because it will. Also, if you're watching this video, there is a chance, if it doesn't do exceptionally well, just because of how YouTube is, there is a chance I will take this video down. It's also very muddly, so I won't even ever upload it officially. And if that's the case and you're still wanting to watch it, it will then also, this video here will also be posted privately in the Discord if you were to kind of listen to or watch me ramble on. So yeah, that's just kind of a thing about the kind of AI mixed thing. But then obviously there's a whole nother thing with AI leaks and then entire AI content creation, like Doctor Who in the Mid-Journey, which is obviously creating mini things. And obviously as it goes on, not just that, but just as AI goes on in general, there will be fully AI Doctor Who series and fan films that pop up on YouTube. I mean, there already is, but they're not necessarily long, maybe 3 or so minutes, or even then they're still very, very, not the best. I mean, AI obviously will never be the best, but you know what I mean. But yeah, the AI leaks, I think there is a plus. As with everything, there is a plus, and we're going to go over the plus of generative AI too, because there is a plus, and hear me out, I'll get to it in a minute. There genuinely is a plus. But as far as Doctor Who and AI leaks go, there is a plus actually regarding just for that topic in general, because the thing is now is leaks are dead. That's it. Literally, as of today, it is currently the 25th of November 2025. I'm recording this, or at least this segment here of the video. It's already been 24 hours. It was yesterday that we knew 100% that 8th Doctor Paul McGann leak was AI, because another one came out which was so just clearly AI, because it just does not make sense and there was inaccuracies in that one, but it was close enough to the Paul McGann one that we know that was AI. And so since then, so it's already been 24 hours, since the 24th of November 2025, leaks in Doctor Who are dead. As regard to pictures, they're dead. Obviously, if there's multiple sources, we know they're filming out on the street, and there's, that's very different. But kind of picture leaks, I don't know if anybody remembers, there was leaks of obviously filming Flux with Sontarans and with Weeping Angels. Obviously the 60th anniversary had a set leak of the TARDIS. If they came out now, those leaks, dead. Don't count anymore. I think majority of people wouldn't believe them. And this is why there is actually a good thing to this with AI Doctor Who leaks, is because now they look so good. And yeah, I know people say, oh, you can tell it's AI. And a majority, I'd say, of people struggled to tell if the Paul McGowan was. There was obviously inaccuracies that you can point out slightly, but still, you had to really kind of look now. And put it through scanners and other stuff. And that's now. Fast forward another 6 months to when the filming of the next series and the Christmas special is fully underway. It's going to be nearly seamless, I'm sure. In fact, it probably already is. They're just finding it out now and then they'll release it. But obviously, So then what I'm saying is like, leaks are dead in the way that because they're so real now, we can't believe any picture leak that we see. Whether it's real or not, we're going to go, we don't know if that's real or that's AI. We can't tell. Even if some people can, some people just do have a very, very good eye. I do tend to have a very good eye for it. I like to think I do at least. But that Paul McGann one did make me go, huh. Like, at first glance especially, I was like, wait. Obviously, then again, there's inaccuracies about masks and blah, 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 blah. But even that's not... that masks is not an AI inaccuracy. Because there could be a case for people to have masks on. An AI inaccuracy is, you know, something there that just really shouldn't be, like a weird splodge or blurb. Or in the TARDIS one that got, you know, the fake TARDIS one, it had like an extra roundel, which was actually the door, which obviously just not real. Not to mention the fact there was a whole upper layer to the TARDIS. So yeah, like, you know, apart from stuff like that, like general inaccuracies, sorry, this is really waffly and my words are slipping, but you get what I'm saying. But so in general, AI leaks or leaks in general now for Doctor Who and other media as well are kind of dead, which is a good thing for film, for fictional film on TV. Obviously, for news, this is a complete nightmare. But and we're not really going to get into that today because that's not what this is about. But yeah, in regard to kind of Doctor Who leaks and stuff, they're kind of dead. And to be honest, I don't really get how text leaks have survived for so long. But I think that's obviously because, I don't know, they're more just people saying things that are more realistic. Like, for instance, obviously the AI leak that went out was very bold. And the text leaks that go out, the really bold ones, everyone's like, nah, they're writing complete rubbish. That's not true. But if someone wrote, I work at the BBC, I have a leak, the Daleks are in the Christmas special, David Tennant's back, and he's going to be on screen with Billy Piper, that could I just made up right now, and that's most likely going to be real. And then that would seem like a real leak, but even though I'm not even there, if you know what I mean. But for the AI pictures, the one that went out was obviously very bold. It had a new TARDIS set, had McGann there, had Billy there in a kind of different outfit. McGann was in a different outfit. All this stuff. Whereas if the AI leak that... I keep saying that so weirdly. Whereas if the AI leak that was made was instead kind of like, you know, something a bit smaller in scale. Maybe just the TARDIS set with the lights off and kind of cameras around and no one on set, similar to the 60th one that got leaked half built. Or if the leak was kind of, you know, I don't know, Billy Piper on the parking lot in a kind of different outfit of Bad Wolf, like, or, you know, filming and it was like a drone shot or something like that. You know, if it was something less big, really, then it could be more, it could have been believed even more. Which is why I'm saying in general leaks are kind of dead. But that's the thing, you know, I guess text leaks are dead as well, because, and they always have been. So obviously image leaks have always kind of been solid. That's the thing. It's not a real leak until we have image proof. But when we have a big piece of text, it's normally disproved because it's like explaining all this stuff in detail, even if it's right, because it's explaining so much, like, no, that's completely just not true, even if it could actually be right. That was never the case for images. If there was an image leak, that's just stamped correct no matter what. Now, that also applies to images. If it's too big, that's going to be stamped as a no. And then it's going to also be, even if it's not too big and it's going to be maybe a yes, it's going to be really heavily scrutinized before people are like, And even so, that's probably going to just be left as a maybe. Obviously, before we then knew that this 8th Doctor that this 8th Doctor leak was fake, a lot of people were just kind of leaving it as a maybe, as, okay, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, we know now that it is fake, but even so. So, yeah, you know what? This video was going to be a lot longer, and I was going to say a lot more, but I think I've actually kind of covered everything. And I don't really just want to talk for the sake of talking. So, I hope you enjoyed listening. Let me know what you think down below or join the Discord. Apologies for any inconsistencies and being quite waffly and going on. If you would like more stuff like this, let me know. I could potentially do stuff like live like this. I think that will probably work better. Maybe I'll do this as a premiere so people can comment live in the chat. I think this would work much better as a live stream. So yeah, maybe we'll discuss this more on a live stream. Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Please don't use AI slop. And goodbye.